Hare Krishna, everybody. This is Krishna Dasa. Welcome you all to this session. Before we start, let's say the prayer to Guru and God. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Chalakaya Chakshurum Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna. Can someone remind me which sloka we finished last time?
29.
We finished 29?
Yes.
Okay. So today let's start from sloka 30 then. Okay, I'll chant the sloka. You can follow with me. Svayaṁ
Svayaṁ
phala-rūpateti
phala-rūpateti
brahma-kumārāḥ.
brahma-kumārāḥ.
See, until 29, Narad Ji was explaining the opinion of different people about Bhakti, right? Now, he is talking about the opinion of the sons of Brahma. Basically, the sons of Brahma say that Bhakti is its own fruit. So, brahma-kumārāḥ means sons of Brahma. So, we have to also remember that Narad Ji is also a son of Brahma. So, these are partly his views also, along with the other sons of Brahma. Basically, devotion to God does not depend on anything else besides love itself. Love begets love, and the sole purpose of divine love is just love. The more one expresses their love for God, the greater their love grows. And the ultimate aim of the devotee is simply to love. The means of reaching this goal is also through one's love for God only. See, this is very similar to what we revised in the previous section, where Bhakti is both the means and the end. And that is also the view held by the brahma-kumārāḥs. So I have extracted a few shlokas from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which talks about this divine love. So the first one is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5, Text 25. When one associates with pure devotees and engages in discussions about the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is a deeply satisfying experience for the heart and mind. Through such spiritual engagement, one can gradually advance on the path of liberation and become free from the material world. As one's attraction to the Lord becomes stronger, they develop a fixed determination for devotion and begin to engage in genuine devotional service. This is what that sloka translates to. As you can see, there is an emphasis given on association with pure devotees and engaging in discussion about the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Yet another endorsement of how we can utilize satsanga. So in a satsanga, this is what we are supposed to do. Like when we have normal groups, we are all part of so many groups, school union groups, college union groups, work groups, Dubai group, Marathi group, Bollywood group, God knows what all group, right? And in every group, we are very active because in that group, the topic is focused to that group only. Like in a school group, we cannot talk about college. You are supposed to talk about what happened in school. Just like that, a satsanga is about, the topic should be God, God's leelas, God's pastimes. So we need to, try to be part of such satsangas, and this is endorsed again and again, one of the very simple mechanisms to grow on the path of Bhakti Yoga. Another sloka is 5.18.12. Pardon me if I am not very fluent, because I have never focused on being very good in recitations of Sanskrit shlokas. I have been focusing on the meaning, but I think it is a good practice to also learn to say the sloka. So I am trying. Okay. So this is 5.18.12. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana Sarvair gunais tatra samasate suraha harava abhaktasya kuto mahat guna manorate na sati davato bahi. When someone has unalloyed devotion for God, they acquire the same good qualities as the demigods. Which kind of good qualities? Qualities like religion, knowledge, renunciation. On the other hand, a person who lacks devotion is caught up in material pursuits. They don't get such good qualities, even if they are skilled in practice, like, so they can be a yogi or they can be taking care of their family, but such person is driven by their own ideas and is bound to serve the Lord's external energy. Therefore, how could they possess these good qualities? So what this shloka is saying is, all you need is unalloyed devotion for God, ananya bhakti. And when we have it, Srimad Bhagavatam says that all the qualities that even demigods have, you start acquiring those qualities. Very simple. Just by devotion, you acquire those qualities. And one more shloka we have, 11-42. If someone takes the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they experience three things at the same time. What are those three things? Devotion, a direct experience of the Lord, and detachment from everything else, vairagya. So an example given is, this is similar to how someone feels pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger when they eat. And with each bite, these feelings increase. So beautiful, effective explanation. So when we eat food, three things are happening. One is we are getting pleasure. It is sweet, it is tasty, whatever. We are getting nourishment. And our hunger is going away. So we don't think like this, but this is what is actually happening with every bite of food we take. So this shloka says that when we take shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead and when we pray, similarly, three things are happening at the same time. What are those three things? First, your devotion is growing. And not just your devotion is growing, you are getting more experience of God. It is a direct experience of God is developing. And third, vairagya is also coming in. You are gradually beginning to get detached from material things. So all those three things are happening together. We just have to identify them and cherish them. In the 12th chapter, Sri Krishna has said, direct your thoughts solely towards me and surrender your intellect completely to me. This way you will always abide in me. There is no doubt about it. This is Krishna's words. See, basically the ultimate goal of any human endeavor is to find happiness and peace. This we all discussed earlier also. Let it be material or spiritual. The end result, we want peace, we want happiness. Now, bhakti or devotion provides a complete and fulfilling path to achieve both. You can get happiness also, you can get peace also. Unlike other methods which require significant sacrifice, the path of bhakti is very liberal, enjoyable, filled with love and bliss. For example, if you want to do Ashtanga Yoga, it's a lot of strict discipline and you have to give away a lot of worldly comforts. It is a requirement. I mean, Deepaji should know this, right? She is practicing yoga. So in Ashtanga Yoga, there are a lot of strict rules which you have to follow if you really want to reach perfection in that yoga. Whereas in Bhakti Yoga, there are no such difficulties that you have to go through. You don't have to be, stretching yourself so much. Now, if you have a choice, one choice is an easy path, a simple path. The other choice is a difficult path and which can make you feel tired. Which path would you choose? Lakshmi ji will choose the difficult path or simple path?
Difficult.
You'll choose difficult path? Okay.
Yes.
Sulata ji, Deepa ji, what's your opinion?
Easy path.
Easy path.
Simple path.
Simple path. Okay. Okay, I think I understand why Lakshmi ji said difficult path, because we have previously spoken about Shreya and Preya, where we said that for true happiness, you should not choose what is pleasant, but you should choose what is good. Now what Sri Krishna is saying is, The path of bhakti is Shreya also, it is easy also. So why are we not following his question? His question is, bhakti is not only Shreya, it is also easy, in Kali Yuga especially. The other way to look at it is, if it is guaranteed that you have a simple path in front of you, what do you think will make somebody choose a difficult path? It is usually the satisfying the ego. No, I will show you. Like, for example, you can stand on 2 legs. That is easy, natural. But I want to stand on 1 leg. Because I want to show the world, see, I can stand on 1 leg for 10 days. No, it is kind of ego satisfaction. So what Krishna is saying is, you don't need to be perfecting in difficult yogas and difficult practices to reach me. You can do it for other purposes. But if your goal is reaching me, you can do that through bhakti, which is easy. That is Krishna's message here. So let us go to the next shloka. So, shloka 31 and 32 are very closely related. So we will chant both shlokas and then go through the interpretation. So shloka 31 says, Rajagraha
Rajagraha
Bhojanadishu
Bhojanadishu
Tataiva
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 Drishtatvat.
Drishtatva.
And shloka 32 says, Na tena
Natene
Rajaparitoshaha
Rajan Pariposhaha
Kshuda Santirva.
Shutha Shantirva.
So the interpretation of shloka 31 is, this is so because the examples of palace and dinner, among others, demonstrate that knowledge or sight alone is insufficient for true understanding or satisfaction. I will explain it. And the interpretation of shloka 32 is, merely having knowledge or sight is incapable of obtaining the favor of a king or satiating one's hunger. This seems a little cryptic. I will explain what they are actually saying. Okay. See, in case of a king, simply knowing about a king or knowing about his palace or admiring his palace, is it enough to win the favor of a king? No. You cannot go to a king and say, I know your name and I really like your palace, and expect the king to become very pleased with you and give you favors. Right? Just like that, just seeing the food is not enough to satisfy your hunger. You are hungry and I am showing you, look at laddu, look at this, look at that. Is that enough? How is that going to fulfill your hunger? You have to actually eat it to feel fulfilled. Just like that, you cannot just have knowledge of God and expect to understand God. I mean, that is not enough. It's like just knowing about food or seeing food. It's not sufficient. You have to eat food. Just like that. True satisfaction and connection with God only be achieved through power of love, because only through power of love you can realize God. We discussed previously, knowledge helps you theorize about God. That is not going to take you far. What you need is to realize God. And the only way you can realize God is through love. I hope that makes sense. So using these examples, Narad Ji is explaining that mere knowledge of God does not give us supreme bliss or happiness. Now these verses, they emphasize the importance of actively practicing bhakti. That is pretty much what Narad Ji is trying to tell us here. He is saying all this theory is okay, but you have to actively practice bhakti every day. And when you do that, it is like eating food and actually relishing that food. Just like that, when you actively practice bhakti, we just discussed, it gives you 3 things simultaneously. And that will help you with true realization of God and enjoyment of that connection with God. Now, Narad Ji is building on this idea and stating that through the practice of bhakti, we develop an intense and spontaneous love for God, which leads to the ultimate goal of bhakti. What is ultimate goal of bhakti? It is supreme bliss and realization of God's presence. That is the ultimate goal of bhakti. You have to realize God. That is the ultimate goal. There are so many avatars of God, and this avatar is named like that, this avatar came in this year, that avatar killed so many demons. They're all theorization. That's okay, it's good to know. But what is really important is that realization of God, that connection, that feeling, that love. Your love for God and also God's love for you. That comes spontaneously when you develop in bhakti. That is what Narad Ji is saying. See, I want to also give you a very interesting information. There is a text called Narayaniyam. Lakshmi Ji probably knows this. Yes. It was composed by a great poet and saint. His name was Narayana Bhattatri. In the 16th century, he composed it in Kerala. Very, very renowned scholar actually. So the Narayaniyam is pretty much a condensation of the Srimad Bhagavatam. All the Leelas of God, he has taken from the Srimad Bhagavatam and condensed it. It is very revered. That Narayaniyam is revered a lot, especially in South India. It has a lot of value. It is written in Sanskrit. It is considered to be one of the greatest literary works in Sanskrit. Technically, it contains 1034 verses, and it is divided into 100 dasakams. Yes, 100 dasakams, and every dasakam has approximately 10 verses. So total it is around 1000 shlokas. Now it's beautiful. It's a beautiful blend of poetry, devotion, philosophy. So if God willing, if we are all together, then maybe we can do Narayaniyam together. Because Narayaniyam can be done. Srimad Bhagavatam, I don't think we can do this way. If we are going to spend 1 hour a week, Srimad Bhagavatam will take a lifetime and we will still not finish, because there are it's too long for us to do. That's why I never even tried it.
Even if you take daily, it will take 3 to 4 years.
Exactly. Even if you do it daily, it will take. I did the math also. So even daily, if I do 24 pages, it's still going to take me like 2 years minimum, without missing a single day, things like that. But Narayaniyam is very feasible if we are all together and you all are enthusiastic. We can see how this goes. It's a very beautiful text. So the story is that Narayana Bhattatri's guru was Pisharadi, and his guru was suffering from rheumatism. I'm so sorry. Rheumatism. Oh my God.
This is the one, Vinayji, before, I'm sorry, this is the one I want to tell you today, because how that, even though about the Guru, Sishya, how they are transferring, but it's God's will. Everything I want to tell this one, the same thing you're telling, I don't know, it's really make me goosebumps. Today I want to tell you about the Narayana Bhattatri, how he got it from his Guru, that's the Roga. And then by singing this one, how Guruvayurappan dances and all those stuff. And it's a beautiful, I think, I want to share that one about, really, and thank you. Go ahead. Just.
Yeah, you see, this is God's Leelas again. We can see it even in this session. What are the odds that Lakshmi Ji wanted to discuss this and I'm bringing the same thing up, because it is not there in the Bhakti Sutra. This is something I went researched and brought it for today because I thought it is very profound. So Lakshmi Ji, you are blessed, and thank you for your association. We also feel blessed. So I'll make the story very concise and condensed for the sake of this session. Later on, even Lakshmi Ji can share the complete version of the story. So the story is Narayana Bhattatri's guru, his name was Pisharadi. He was suffering from rheumatism, which is a very painful disease. And Narayana Ji, he was unable to see, he had so much love for his guru. Those are different days where guru-shishya relationship was a very strong bond, and so he could not see his guru's pain. So, but then Narayana Bhattatri had become perfect in yoga. He had himself, under the guidance of his guru, had become a very perfect yogi himself. So using the yoga power, he told his guru that as a Guru Dakshina, you cannot stop me from giving you Guru Dakshina. And his guru says, okay, then what Guru Dakshina do you want to give me? He says, the Guru Dakshina is, I'm going to take your disease from you. And so Narayana Bhattatri uses his yogic powers to take the disease from his guru onto himself. That was the love he had for his guru. But this is a long story, I'll make it short, but eventually like Narayana Bhattatri, he is young, but still he is now feeling the pain of that disease. And his guru is relieved, but it has come to him now. And another great Bhakti Yogi advises him. He says that, the actual story says that the Bhakti Yogi tells him, touch the fish and you will be relieved. So nobody understands what he's trying to say, because Brahmins are not supposed to talk about fish or meat or anything, but basically but Narayana Bhattatri is also a very advanced yogi, so he understood the message. He was talking about Matsya Avatar, starting from Matsya Avatar, and he was trying to say that, you talk about those glories of God. That was the message. So that is what made him start singing the praises of Lord Vishnu in the form of Narayaniyam. Now the legend has it that as he was reciting the verses of the Narayaniyam, slowly and gradually he started getting healed. And by the time he finished reciting the complete Narayaniyam, he was completely healed. It is in the south, this event is celebrated as one of the miracles of Bhakti Yoga. And Guruvayurappan is the place where this happened in Kerala. I have been there. It's a very beautiful temple. And it is basically one of Krishna's Rupa, the Guruvayurappan. So now it is widely believed that if we do the Parayana of Narayaniyam with devotion and regularly if we do it, then mental and physical illnesses, they go away. It's very strongly believed. So in the south, people do that religiously. They do Parayana of Narayaniyam. So in the first Dashakam of Narayaniyam, it is said, I'm just quoting the first Dashakam's concise summary. In the current age of Kali Yuga, the greatest fortune that mankind can have is the manifestation of the eternal truth in the form of Lord Krishna in the sacred temple of Guruvayur. This manifestation of Lord Krishna is a source of salvation for all true devotees. The spiritual bliss that emanates from Lord Krishna is beyond comparison and transcends all limits of time and space. This eternal truth is not bound by any illusion and is omnipresent, being the root cause of the entire universe. Even the Vedas, the sacred text of Hinduism, cannot fully comprehend or describe this truth. However, it can be attained through the unwavering devotion of true devotees of Lord Krishna. You see, yet again, Ananya Bhakti is spoken about in the first Dashakam. So another thing you should notice it, again they have said that even the Vedas cannot fully explain God. The Vedas are supposed to be the most technical, most intense, most thorough text that humanity has access to. They are saying even the Vedas cannot fully explain God. If you want to understand God, the only way is through realizing God, not by theorizing God. And realizing God, the only way is through love, through bhakti, to Ananya Bhakti. Not the convenient bhakti, but the consistent bhakti. The author then highlights the irony of how this opportunity is readily available in the form of Lord Krishna. He is saying Krishna is that merciful form and he is available for us. His grace is readily available. And yet people are ignoring and they are pursuing worldly pleasures. It is so sad. So in the Narayaniyam, they say that complete faith in Krishna is important for one more reason. If you are looking for a selfish reason, the selfish reason is only Krishna has the power to take away your sorrows in the true sense. Okay, I'm not a very learned scholar, but I can tell you that there are some saints who have the power to transfer your problems to your next life. So, for example, if you are destined to die, say next week, they may postpone it so that instead of next week, you will live for a couple of more years. But basically, that extra time is borrowed from your next birth. This is all technical. I cannot prove it or disprove it. I'm just saying what I have read in other scriptures. But if you want your difficulties to truly go away, it is not possible by those means. The only way is Krishna. You pray to Krishna with devotion and faith, and he can actually just take away your sorrows, make you get rid of them. No, that is the message here. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a very beautiful saying. It comes in the first canto. Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva para Makaha, Vasudeva para Yoga, Vasudeva paraha Kriyaha, Vasudeva param Jnanam, Vasudeva param Tapaha, Vasudeva paro Dharmo, Vasudeva paragatihi. Beautiful. In the revealed scriptures, the ultimate object of knowledge is Sri Krishna, Vasudeva. The purpose of performing sacrifices is to please Vasudeva. Yoga is for realizing Vasudeva. All materially motivated activities are ultimately rewarded by Vasudeva only. He is supreme knowledge, and all severe austerities are performed to know Vasudeva. Religion is rendering loving service unto Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the supreme goal of life. It pretty much condenses, I think, Bhakti Yoga. This one verse. Now there is a story of a famous scholar who came to Vrindavan. The story is that he came to Vrindavan to debate religious scriptures with local Vaishnavas, because he was very proud of his scholarly expertise. So when he came, he challenged the Vaishnavas of Vrindavan. He said, come debate with me. And he said, I can defeat any one of you. So the local Vaishnavas, they tried debating with him. Quickly they realized, oh, this guy is a big scholar. So they said, now we should send him to Rupa Goswami, because Rupa Goswami was the foremost disciple of Lord Chaitanya himself. And he was known to be like one of the biggest scholars in Vrindavan. So they sent Rupa Goswami. But Rupa Goswami was least interested in the debates. Rupa Goswami says, what am I going to do winning a debate? I'm not interested. But this scholar is very persistent. He says, if you don't debate me, you have to give me in writing that you are defeated and I won. Rupa Goswami just writes and gives, go take it. You win, I lost. So now this scholar then goes to Rupa Goswami's brother and he has the same discussion. He says, your brother Rupa Goswami already accepted defeat. Now I want to debate with you and defeat you. His brother also says, here, take it in writing, you already won. Like this. And then he goes to Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami is the nephew of Rupa Goswami. It's a much younger guy. So right, youth. So the Jiva Goswami feels like, how can he treat my uncle like this? How can Rupa Goswami be, how can he say that he defeated Rupa Goswami? This doesn't make sense. So he says, I will fight with you. I will debate with you. And the story goes that they had this debate which went on for several days apparently. And Jiva Goswami realized that it is not easy to just defeat this guy, because this can go on and on, And then he prays to Lord Krishna for guidance. He says, Krishna, I have entered this debate. Now you have to help me, because my intention is to, honor my uncles who are your devotees. So please help me. And so the story says that Lord Krishna actually appeared before Jiva Goswami and blessed him with divine insight and divine knowledge, using which he could quickly defeat this scholar. This is the story, but it goes further. Jiva Goswami realized, of course, that Lord Krishna's blessings is with him, and only with his blessing he is able to win this. Jiva Goswami got that realization. Now, the scholar was so impressed by what just happened, by how this Jiva Goswami was able to win over him, using his bhakti to Lord Krishna. The scholar was very impressed by this particular phenomenon, and the story says that the scholar not only accepted defeat, but he became a disciple of Jiva Goswami. And that is the story. So what is the Tatparya is the importance of devotion. You may be a scholar, that's okay. But when you have devotion, then miracles happen. True knowledge and understanding can be attained through grace of divine. So it is not that when you have devotion, you cannot have knowledge. When you grow in devotion, Krishna will give you the knowledge, much more than any non-devotee can have. That is, even the most learned scholars can be transformed through devotion. That is kind of the gist of this story. Can we go to the next Shloka, 33? So Shloka 33, Tasmat Saiva.
Tasmat Saiva
Grahya
Grahaya
Mumukshubhiha.
Mumukshubhiya.
Therefore, that supreme love for God alone is to be sought after by seekers of complete liberation. Narad Ji says, thus, O seekers, engage in devotion to Lord. So in one of the dohas, Sant Kabir says, beautiful doha again, Poti padi padi jag muva, pandit baya na koi, dhai aakar prem ka, pade so pandit hoye. So what that means is, reading various scriptures, everyone died without becoming wise. I mean a pandita, they didn't become a pandita. They died before they could become. Whereas, one who reads the 2.5 syllables, which is what the prem is 2.5 syllables, they became panditas. See how profound this message is. The message says, divine love is what is most important. Even if you want to become a pandita, what you need is divine love. That is what Kabir is saying. Why just Kabir? You know, Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya was known to be one of the greatest scholars of Sanskrit and Advaita philosophy, and he was so renowned. He had so much knowledge. But does anybody remember what was Shankaracharya's last work? The most popular and last work? No? Bhaja Govindam. After all the knowledge, after knowing so much, Shankaracharya said, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamathe, Samprapte Sanhite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshate, Dukrung Karane. So after all that knowledge, Adi Shankaracharya said, worship Govinda, O foolish mind. See, that is the realization of even such elevated scholars like Shankaracharya, that what is required is divine love. See, there is no doubt that the path of devotion is superior to other paths, because Lord Krishna himself has said this in the Bhagavad Gita, and Narad Ji is also saying the same thing. And what is Narad Ji also saying is, those who are on this path, they must cultivate the spirit of devotion within themselves, because through devotion alone, they can easily and readily experience the Supreme. Those who recognize, see, this is again very important, so please pay attention here. Those who recognize their own imperfections and are deeply dissatisfied with their own imperfections, seeking to liberate themselves from these limitations, these are the ones who are most suited to follow the path of devotion. This is the only requirement that Narad Ji is saying. This is the only requirement Krishna is also saying. Krishna is also saying, give away your pride and ego and control your vikaras. This is what Krishna told Arjuna, asked in the Bhagavad Gita, if you remember. What is the main cause? So Arjuna wants this root cause analysis. He says, Krishna, you are talking about so many problems, so many issues. Can you give me the main root cause? And Krishna says the root cause is lust. That is what was said in Bhagavad Gita, correct? Now, lust is vikara. It is an imperfection. Just like that, there are many imperfections that we are supposed to address. But what is most important, do we have this mindset of introspecting and finding our own imperfections? Like we read in Ramcharitamanas, we are busy finding fault in others. What is important is identifying the fault in ourselves. So we are supposed to introspect. We are supposed to put a finger on our imperfections and have the willingness to address them. And how will you have the willingness to address them? Only if you have a control over your pride and ego. Because your pride and ego won't let you do that. That is the reason why first we start by controlling your pride and ego. Practice it with your satsanga. In the satsanga, are you able, if somebody is giving you critical feedback, are you able to take it? Or does it immediately How can they say this? Our first reaction when somebody says, hey, you are doing something wrong, the first reaction is, how can they say this? That should not be the issue. The issue should be, maybe there is a truth to what they are saying. Can I introspect? Is there something that I can fix? That mindset, Narad Ji is saying, is a prerequisite for a devotee. Yeah, I hope this makes sense. Now, some qualities are called out, and it's very interesting. A genuine devotee must possess the courage of Prahalada, the determination of Dhruva, the selflessness of Sudama, the depth of Shabri's devotion, the perseverance of the gopis, the intense love of Radha, and the unshakable faith of Kunti. So beautiful. So if we can look at these examples and see how we can inculcate them, they're not just stories to listen and forget. It is about how we can inculcate some of the qualities called out. Of course, I'll share the notes. You can introspect on all of them. So Narad Ji is saying, the seekers of spiritual truth, they need to cultivate these qualities, and that will elevate them on the path of bhakti. See, sometimes, people, I have this question. I've heard this question so many times. I lost count. And many years ago, maybe, I don't know how many years, maybe 10 years ago, when I used to regularly visit the Krishna temple and be associated with satsanga and all. So many people would come to me, normal young people, and tell me, Kya Prabhuji, they are telling me to say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I've been saying Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, but nothing good is happening in my life. And I never had an answer for that, because I really don't know how to answer. Like, that is his experience, that he's saying Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, nothing really happening. And I don't know what to say, But Narad Ji is beautifully explaining that starting bhakti starts from there. You start bhakti by Harinam Jap. Chanting is one of the best ways to start bhakti. But then you need to grow in bhakti. And how do you grow in bhakti? So he's saying all these qualities. You tell me something. If you love somebody, would you not want to present the best version of you to that person? That should be true love, right? See, most people, when they are in a mode of love, they have a checklist. Oh, like if it's a guy, he will say, oh, the girl should be tall, she should be fair, she should know how to cook, she should know how to sing. Hajar list, but is that real love? Love starts when you say, what I need to be. I need to be kind, I need to be compassionate, I need to be this, I need to be that. Correct? Now we are talking about the absolute love, we are talking about divine love. In divine love, don't you want to be your very best? That is the message Narad Ji is saying. That if you want to progress on the path of bhakti, try to become the best version of yourself. Bhakti will develop. And he is giving you some of the qualities that we just discussed now. They are all the things that we can cultivate to grow on the path of bhakti. Now, one thing I want to point out, it's very interesting, I don't know if you noticed it, that when they talk about Prahalada, when they talk about Radha, when they talk about the gopis, everybody understands. But Narad Ji has also spoken about the unshakable faith of Kunti, which is not that well known. Actually, Kunti's faith was demonstrated in several instances throughout the epic Mahabharata. So I want to bring that out. That aspect is not that popular, so I wanted to share that with you. Everything else is already known. One such instance was when Kunti and her sons, they were living in exile. They faced many challenges. Despite those challenges, Kunti remained steadfast in her devotion to Krishna. Kunti was always having faith in Krishna. She had so many difficulties in her life. She never lost faith in Krishna. She always said, Krishna is my protector, Krishna is my savior. And she would always pray only to Krishna, no matter what her difficulties. So when the Pandavas won the war and Yudhishthira was crowned the king, so the story is in Mahabharata. At that time, Krishna, he came to Kunti and he bowed down to Kunti and said, Bua, your son is now the king of the country. I have helped him win the war. My job is done. Now the country is in capable hands. So I think now it is time for me to go back. And he says, you have seen enough challenges in your life. You lost your husband when you were young. You took care of 5 sons even when they were in the forest. You watched your sons get sent to the forest for 14 years, and also the death of your grandsons during the war. You never experienced love for your eldest son, Karna. You had to bear that hard secret. You can't share it even with your own sons. Life has always been moving from one problem to other for you. Now, I can bless you that from now on, your life can be full of happiness and satisfaction. I can bless you. And it's my time now to leave and go. So please ask me. Just ask me for any boon. I will grant you any boon. That is when Kunti tells Krishna, she says, "Oh Krishna, I have one desire. I will be happy if you fulfill it." So beautiful. And Krishna says, "Bhuva, I am telling you I will fulfill any boon. Just tell me what you want." It is documented in the Srimad Bhagavatam also. Then Kunti says, "Vipadaha santutaha sashvat tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yat syad apunar bhava darshanam." I wish we could all understand Sanskrit because it's so beautiful. What Kunti says is, I wish all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. That is called faith. She is basically saying, give me more of those calamities. Give me more of those troubles. Because through those calamities and troubles, we got to see you. That is faith. Now all the 5 sons of Kunti, they were so shocked to hear that. They were like, what is our mother saying? Huh? Our mother has been through so many difficulties and she wants more difficulties. What's wrong with her? But Krishna understood the real meaning. And he teased her. So I'll just complete this one statement. So Krishna understood Kunti's real intent, and so he teases her. He says, "Bhuva, I am so surprised by your question. Why do you want to ask for more troubles and constant pain? Have you not had enough trouble in your life already? Since your childhood, you have been having one trouble after the other. So I really don't understand. Are you really sure this is what you want?" And then Kunti says, "Oh Krishna, in all my suffering, I have always turned to you. It is through my struggles that I have come to understand your love and grace. Without suffering, I would have never known you. That is why I ask for more suffering, because I believe that through those sufferings, I get closer to you and I attain you." That is Kunti's faith. Lakshmiji, you were saying something?
Yeah, that is why I want to have a difficult path. Because when the difficulty is there, then it all means God is blessing me with me. So I want to choose the difficult path. That's
No, that is very noble of you. But only thing we are saying is, if God himself tells you that, okay, to reach me, use this easy path, at that time we have to listen and then choose the easy path. Okay.
But with trouble, if easy everything gets, means we don't know the value of that one too. Yeah. So even though I'm telling you, whoever comes here, that 1 hour dedicated, they have to come do that one. So we are getting some fruit. So actively we are practicing. Practicing means coming. I mean, that is also small difficulties.
Yes.
That we meet it. Anyhow, Kunti came and make me happy.
Yeah, I know. And I also try to give you a tough time, I know. Because sometimes I don't have real right to say things, but I say that anyways, because I'm trying to just get you more consistent. Because what usually happens is we all come together, 1 hour we are in the session, and then for 1 week we forget each other. You know, whereas we don't forget all other groups like this, correct? Our school friends, college friends, I know every other day there is a hi, hello, and what is going on, and you want to be in touch. But when it comes to satsanga, it is taken for granted that next week we will meet. That shouldn't happen. You need to really cultivate and be consistent. And, that has been my request all the time. So, Kunti is then continuing. Kunti says, "Oh Krishna, when my sons lost Draupadi in the game of dice, you were there to help her honor. When my sons were sent to the forest and they faced so many challenges, you were there to give them a helping hand. When my sons went to the palace, your ideas along with Vidura helped them escape a sure death." She's talking about when Duryodhana set their house on fire. This is also documented in the Mahabharata. "And you were there as a charioteer for Arjuna, and you enabled him to defeat mighty warriors. And you were the reason why they won the war. If you tell me that I will have peace, satisfaction and happiness until I die, will I ever see you again? Will I ever get to hear your soothing voice and experience your grace?" She's saying, if from now onwards my life is only peaceful and joyful, then there will be no opportunity for me to call out to you. So to me it feels that only when we have more and more difficulties, we are close to you. So please give me more difficulties. That is why Kunti is quoted as the unwavering faith for Krishna. That was the path, the depth of Kunti's faith. In my opinion, I think this is probably the most profound experience of faith towards God, which we need to understand truly. Our love is exactly opposite. Today I don't feel like praying because God didn't answer my prayer. Today I don't feel like praying because God didn't give me that something. I had a tough time in office. How can God let it happen? So today I'm not in a mood to pray. Usually, but it should be the other way around. Kunti says that because we think of God whenever we are in pain or suffering, please ask for more pain or suffering. And this is symbolic. The idea is not that we want a life full of suffering. The idea is we should always long for the association with God, remembering God. That is the whole idea. If we can remember God even when we are not in pain, then we are already progressed on the path of bhakti. That should be the goal. So one last shloka I can take from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is in the 6th canto. "Those who dedicate themselves entirely to serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, have no reason to be afraid of any circumstances in life. To them, whether it is a celestial realm, release from cycle of birth and death, or even the torturous narak, these states, they don't hold any significance. Such devotees are solely focused only on serving the Lord." This is the Tatparya. So I told this because it was tying very nicely with Kunti's expression of "give me more difficulties." And then in the following shlokas, Narad Ji will offer. So Narad Ji has spoken about the other people's opinion. Narad Ji has spoken about opinion of his own brothers. Now in the following shlokas, Narad Ji will offer his own personal opinion and advice on how to cultivate such devotion. Now he does not contradict anything that was mentioned earlier. He just seeks to integrate them into a practical and intimate path. So the next section is going to be pretty profound again. So with this shloka, I think we have concluded the second logical section of the Bhakti Sutra. So in the next session, we will start the third section, which is what are the methods by which bhakti can be cultivated, leading to para-bhakti. So that's going to be pretty intense again. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna, everybody. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or inputs before we stop recording? Okay, everybody is muted and quiet. That means they want me to stop recording. I'll do that first.